Hello, so this is my forecast for Wednesday. So first I will be going over the euro and the US dollar. So what I can see currently is that, as I was saying yesterday, we were stuck in this large flat range. Then we broke the low, retraced with a huge wick, then continued with one candle, but also retraced with a large wick. Went back into this range, and then currently we shot down with two impulses and we left a large wick. So we did break out of this range. So currently I do classify the status of the euro and the US dollar as it broke out of a range. But what can easily happen is that the price can just retrace from here and just continue ranging, something like this. Because we got this large wick, the impulse wasn't that big, and I can expect that the price will just get back into the range and continue moving sideways. What can also happen, we can get more of an impulse, so this impulse may still not be finished. We can get more of this impulse. Just a second. So this candle can turn into something like this. Then I would look for a bump trade. Or what can also happen, we can get a bullet trade from here, so push, pullback, and then I would look maybe for a short trade. Or we can get just descending from here, then I would look for an impulse to the upside, and I would look to enter on a long trade. We can just stay ranging between the low and the high. Or we can push to the upside. Then this would be a V reversal. So we know that when we get a V reversal, we can often get a range and then a push to the upside in the direction of the second leg. So the second leg is this one. We can get just a continuation of that push. Also what can happen, we can shoot to the upside, get a pullback, another push, look for a bullet long trade. Or we can get an ascending structure, breaks the high, push to the downside, look for a short trade. So yeah, those are some of the possibilities that I can see for the euro. Currently, if the candle closes like this, I'm not looking for any trades, because this to me just broke out of the range, retraced to the large wick, so it can easily go back into the range as I was saying. So I'm looking for more of a push either to the downside or to the upside. I'm looking for more momentum and much cleaner price action, because I know it's the end of December and I only want to be looking at high probability setups. So the year is ending. There is not a lot of movement in the markets, so not a lot of opportunity, and I need to be more alert, more careful with the setups. So to me this just looks like dirty price action, and I want to stay out of this sort of price action. So yeah, that is my forecast for the euro. Now let's switch over to the Aussie. So very similar price action. We are just ranging in this flat range. Then we broke to the upside into the liquidity area, as I mentioned before. And what happened when we broke into the liquidity area? So we broke, created a huge wick, retraced straight back into the range. Then we broke the low, retraced with a huge wick. To me this signaled just ranging price action, so something like this. I was not willing to look for any trades, because I can see that we are stuck in this larger range and there are liquidity still liquidity areas above and below. So currently we are getting this smaller range, and to me this just looks like a dirty price action, and I don't want to be looking for any opportunities currently. What I would like to see is a nice push to the upside, look for a trade. Nice push, pull back, another push, look for a bullet long trade, very high probability, but it needs to move away from the range, so it needs to be bigger, something like this. Push, pull back, another push, then look for a long trade. We can get this clean ascending into the upper liquidity area, then a push to the downside. I would look for a trade. What can happen, we can get that same descending into the lower liquidity area, push to the upside, look for a long trade. So either maybe this bomb trade, or maybe I would look, if we get a nice clean descending, push to the upside, a nice bullet trade to the bullet area. Or what can happen, we can get a large impulse to the downside. I would look for a trade. I would also like to see a nice large impulse, pull back another impulse, look for a bullet short trade. And I know that this setup signals a trend to me because we have one impulse and then a second continuation impulse. But what I can expect is just a range, since it is the end of December and the price just tends to range. So that is also a possibility. Currently I classify this pair as ranging price action. So yeah, that's it for this analysis. Now let's move on to the final pair. So to the Aussie and the Japanese yen. I also classified this as ranging price action. So there was a range right here. Then we pushed to the upside. Got this nice impulse, but then it ended with a wick. We then broke the high, retraced, broke the low, retraced, broke the high, retraced, signaling to us a larger range, which we then got. So we then broke the high, got a huge wick, retraced to the downside, broke the low, retraced with a large wick, so still signaling to me a range. This would actually, I would classify this as an expanding range. So something like this. It does look a little bit better than the Aussie and the US dollar, but it is still just breaking, retracing with a large wick, breaking, retracing with a large wick. Then we broke the low again, retraced with a wick, broke the high, retraced. So just giving us no direction, no clear momentum and no clear movement. And what I can forecast is that we will just continue with this, we will just continue with this pattern. So just continue ranging, something like this. So yeah, what I would like to see is a nice big impulse to the upside, look for a trade, or a nice big impulse, pull back another impulse, look for a bullet long trade. Same thing to the downside, nice big impulse to the downside, look for a trade, or maybe an impulse, pull back another impulse, look for a bullet short trade. Also, what can happen, we can get a nice clean descending, and if that does happen, I'll look for an impulse to the upside, then a trade. Same thing to the upside, so a nice clean ascending structure, look for an impulse to the downside, then look for a short trade. And that is it for the forecast. Currently, all of the pairs are ranging. The euro is breaking out of a range, but not giving me any strength, so there is a high probability that it will just, as I said, retrace back into the range. I'm not seeing any clear momentum or movement on any of the three pairs, and I'm waiting for a better opportunity, especially when I know that at the end of December I need to be more patient and sit on my hands a little bit more. So yeah, that's it for the forecast, and I will see you in the next one.